I remember seeing this picture where, like, if you look at what it was in 2018 versus 2023, back then it was like less crowded. Now it's more crowded than ever. And it's all because it's easier to create products and apps. There's a lot of no code tools out there. And even let's talk about AI. AI has been the star in the last 12 months. People are talking about generative AI and ChatGPT. I've seen it gotten so much better that it can actually produce code that is workable. And all the point of this is that competition is increasing, and really how you win now is to delight your users and get them to see the value of your product quicker. Every single time that they face a roadblock or an obstacle, they can easily leave the store and walk out. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Product Adoption Academy show by Appcues. I'm super excited here. I'm going to be doing my first solo episode. By the way, this is Ramli John, your host. And today I'm going to be sharing one of my templates, a user onboarding audit template. Now, one of the most impactful things you can do to really get more people to see the value of your product is to get them there quicker. Now, we know, and I love this quote from Scott Bilski. He's a chief product officer at Adobe. He said that in the first 15 seconds, most new users, what happens to them is that they're lazy, vain, and they're selfish. And that sounds really harsh. Like, why would you call somebody that? Like, you're supposed to empathize with your users and love them and care for them, but calling them lazy, vain, and selfish is kind of harsh. But the reality is, think about the last time that you signed up for an app or a product. Maybe it's mobile, maybe it's online. Maybe the thoughts that came to your mind that is unconscious that you're not really thinking about, but it's there. It's like, what is this product? What can it do for me? How can it help my life? Make it better or easier? How can it make my work much better? How can it make me look good in front of my peers, my boss, my coworkers, my family and friends? And really all those thoughts coming to your mind are exactly what users have and they're thinking about. And the problem these days that if you look at the competition, especially if you look at the MarTech landscape, I remember seeing this picture where, like, if you look at what it was in 2018 versus 2023, back then it was like less crowded. Now it's more crowded than ever. And it's all because it's easier to create products and apps. There's a lot of no code tools out there. And even let's talk about AI. AI has been the star in the last 12 months. People are talking about generative AI and ChatGPT. I've seen it gotten so much better that it can actually produce code that is workable. And all the point of this is that competition is increasing, and really how you win now is to delight your users and get them to see the value of your product quicker. Every single time that they face a roadblock or an obstacle, they can easily leave the store and walk out. That's exactly what's happened with, think about the last time you bought a product, like a physical product, let's say a tech product. I'm trying to find something here, like let's say a pen. If it's really hard to buy a pen, right? You go into a store, whatever store that is, you go in, they make you jump through hoops. It's easy to walk out and actually go to another store. It's even easier now where you can just go to online stores like Amazon and you go to a physical store and they make it hard for you. Go to Amazon and just like, why would I have to jump through hoops when this other product here or this other location can give me this pen easier? Now, I think that's why it's important for us that one of the most impactful thing you can do, especially for new users, so I keep saying again, get them to see the value as quickly as possible. So how do you do that? The way that you do that and the approach that I do is I call a user onboarding audit. And I liken it to a financial audit. If you are in debt or you are struggling financially, one of the first things that a financial professional would do, a financial advisor would ask you for your income and your expenses. That person would go through how much you're making and would break down every single thing that you're spending your money on. Are you overspending on entertainment? Maybe you're overspending on clothing. Maybe you're overspending on eating out. And using that approach by auditing your financial statements or your bank statements, that advisor can now come to you and give you an advice on how to make sure that you're saving for the future. Now you're probably wondering why, like, Ramli, we're talking about product adoption here. Like, what does financial statements mean? And like, don't bore us with those financial things that you're talking about. Well, I think it's the same thing with user onboarding, with your first new user experience. What we want to do is we want to be more intentional and really break down every single thing a user is doing to make sure, is it something that is adding value to the experience, or is it like one of those expenses that is unnecessary and is adding weight and it creating debt to your user and blocking them. And that's what I created, this user onboarding audit template. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see this on the screen, but I'm going to be if you're listening to this on your podcast or audio, I'm going to be as descriptive as possible here as I share this with all the folks here. So here's what it looks like. It's pretty simple. It's a Notion template that you can download for free at appcues.com/product adoption.academy. And one of the templates that I provide here is this user onboarding journey template or user onboarding audit template. So let's dig into this. It gives you instruction here that this, what you do for your own product is that you would list out every single step the user has to do. So if they have to fill out a form, a field, whether it's that email or the address, you ask them, you put it down here as one card here in this audit form. If they have to click any button, if they have to check anything off that they have to set up, that's a new card that you want to do there. And I've added some categories here that is generalized, but you should update this for your own thing. There's the sign up category here. There's the milestone category, the different milestones that you want to do. So for Appcues, once a user signs up for it, maybe one of the first milestones is setting up and downloading the Chrome extension that we have, the Appcues builder. So that would be a milestone. And then another milestone might be finally setting up their first flow with Appcues. And once you have that, the very last milestone is actually launching that flow. So each of these milestones are filled out. Once you have those categories, those milestones, you would fill out every step. And what you want to do is, and right now in this template, there's already some tabs here, but if you open up one of the cards, one of the fields is called label, and you can select it. There's three options here. So you can either cut it, this is unnecessary, you can delay it, or it's absolutely mission critical. So these are some things that you need. You base your decision on this based on data, some of the stuff that you have, but also based on your past experience. So let's talk about data. Data is looking at your flow and figuring out where people are dropping off. You can find this through, if you're using Google Analytics, you should find something better, something like Mixpanel or Full Story or some other tool like Keep. Will help you identify where in this stage in the journey people are dropping off. And this is something you might think about cutting or delaying after a user has finally experienced the product's value. The next thing that you want to look at is maybe you look at video recordings. You can use Full Story or Hotjar, where you can watch your users if they're struggling with a specific step. That's something that you want to consider cutting off as well. The other thing that you want to do in terms of cutting is that one of the exercises to do with a team is I ask them to fill out all the steps and then send out this template to multiple functions in your organization. Somebody from sales, somebody from customer success, somebody from product. And what happens is that often what sales think is mission critical and what product thinks is mission critical and what maybe marketing or customer success thinks is a step that's mission critical, there's a differing opinion, because maybe sales think it's mission critical to have a phone number. For argument's sake, let's say it is absolutely mission critical. It's a mobile app. They need that mobile phone to verify. And what happens is once you ask them to fill it out, you come back together and you share where those differences are. And this becomes a discussion. This is what I love about this. And I've always said that improving onboarding experiences is a collaborative experience. It needs to be a cross-functional approach. There is no other way. This is a place where people can have it. So what you do by yourself, You figure out if it's mission critical or it's something that you need to cut or delay. And then what you do, like I said, once you fill this out by yourself, you can actually make sure that you do it with other team members in your company, and then finally come together to discuss what are absolutely mission critical steps here. What are things that we can cut off? What are things that we must have so that we can have an experience for users to experience that value really quickly? And it sounds so simple, but doing this audit can actually help you identify which of your steps in your product can be cut off and which of your steps can be gained. Once again, you can download this at appcues.com/product adoption academy. But just let me tell you a story before we wrap up here. I did this exercise with a team when I was working at product led with West Bush, and we asked them to fill out every single step that a user has to take to experience the product's value. And once they put it up on the wall, we were using sticky notes because was back then when in person was the thing. Of course, it's pre-pandemic, and we came and we put down every sticky note on the wall, and we ended up with 67 steps. Like, think about that. A user had to complete 67 things, fill out 67 things, click on 67 things, and it's like, wow, that's crazy. And you're probably wondering, that's not you. But it can easily become what happens to your onboarding experience, especially if there's no intention and being really rigorous about auditing your onboarding experience. And this approach here should hopefully help out with whatever you're working on. Let me know what you think about it. You can check it out. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or you want to see this in action. Ramli at appcues.com, and I'd love to just respond back to you. Also, I do like workshops on a monthly basis. One of the workshops really focus on this onboarding audit template that I use. We actually go through an exercise with this using Canva and other things. So go check that out. That's in the same place. You can download the template at appcues.com/product adoption.academy. Let me know what you think. Well, that's it for this episode. Would love to hear from you. Would love to, really hear what you're up to. So we will see you in the next episode when I have a guest talk about something to improve your product adoption academy. Talk to you soon.